The Truth About Garment Factories by Sydney Button. That's me. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. On March 25th of 1911, garment workers, mostly young women who were either Italian or Jewish immigrants, were working in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory like usual on every other day, when a fire started to spread throughout the factory because someone threw a cigarette in the wastebasket, and workers tried to escape, but the doors were locked and only some managed to survive. Over 100 garment workers died that day, either from the fire itself or from jumping 8 through 10 stories above the ground. After this incident, outraged citizens blamed the entrepreneurs, Max Planck and Isaac Harris. They are mostly to blame for this horrid event. The Rana Plaza collapse. In 2013, garment workers, who were mostly women in Bangladesh, were also working at the garment factory when suddenly the building collapsed, killing over 1,000 workers. The day prior to the accident, workers found cracks in the building walls and floor. However, the business owners told them that it was safe to stay, but then the accident happened the very next day. It wasn't safe. Who was to blame for these incidents? In my opinion, entrepreneurs, aka business owners, are to blame for these incidents and others like them. There are many reasons why entrepreneurs are to blame for unsafe working conditions, unsafe living conditions outside of working, and child labor from back then to even today. Harsh working conditions. Back then, and even now, harsh working conditions are kind of common. In the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory, all of the workers and machines were packed tightly together in one cramped room, and in order to prevent workers from stealing, the entrepreneurs locked all of the doors and maybe barred the windows sometimes too. After the fire, this type of treatment wasn't tolerated in the US, but in other places, harsh working conditions weren't taken away, even after incidents like Rana Plaza. Since the entrepreneurs of Rana Plaza were responsible for the safety of their workers, they did care that over 1,000 people died because of all the money they lost. The worst part about it that proves that the entrepreneurs only care about themselves and their money is that the entrepreneurs forced their workers to go in the cracked building prior to the incident, or else the workers would risk losing their jobs. But after the workers went back in, the entrepreneurs just left. They didn't even care. Some entrepreneurs are even so harsh that they won't let their workers see a doctor because they don't feel good. And the reason why those workers don't feel good is because of the toxic air caused by dye for the clothing they make, and that stuff is bought and used by the owners. Pretty bad. Child labor. Children were treated very similarly and differently compared to adults. Back then, and sometimes even now, entrepreneurs would hire kids so that they could get more money. And they'd pay the kids less money than adults, which helped them get more profits. But the kids would work in the same conditions as adults. Children are more likely to get hurt in garment factories, because back then, kids might slip and they might grab on a dangerous machine to regain balance, but doing so could result in the kids losing a finger or their entire hand. The entrepreneurs are responsible for that. Also, although this happened to adults as well, entrepreneurs would yell and swear at children more often because the kids didn't know what they were doing or they were too slow. One or the other. The business owners don't care about the children's safety. They just cared about the money. Not good. Living conditions outside of working. Entrepreneurs back then and now will pay their workers minimum wage, such as 9 cents in Bangladesh. 9 cents! And that tiny amount of money is barely enough for workers to survive at home. Some people will live in cellars with toxic air, and others might live in cramped apartments with 5 families living in it. Sometimes surrounding those homes are dumps with old trends of clothing in them. Entrepreneurs will dump clothing if they are no longer popular, and there's a lot of one trend, so all of those clothes can litter the country in dumps. Quite literally. So, please raise awareness that there are people being harmed in garment factories because the entrepreneurs are not taking safety seriously. All they care about is the money. If there are no workers, there's no products made and there's no money. So, please consider raising awareness to people who might not know about this. Thank you.